Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for this Alternatives to Private Car webinar. Apologies to those of you who joined yesterday. We did experience some technical problems. We have sent a link to that recording out, and we will do the same with today's. Today we are joined by Matthew from VOI Technology to talk about electric scooters, and Ali Bell at National Express to talk about buses. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Matthew, and he will give you a presentation and we'll talk through the VOI options available.
Well, thank you very much, Gemma. Hello, I'm Matthew Penchard. I'm the Head of Policy for VOI, which are an e-scooter operator. I'm actually in one of our warehouses in Liverpool, so I can show all the people on the webinar a load of scooters which are being repaired and are ready to go out onto the streets of Liverpool. So now hopefully I can share my presentation. Or was it being shared? Oh dear, hang on. Let's try it again. Okay. Is that being shared, Jem?
It is. You just need to go into presentation mode. Okay,
great. Right, so very quickly, VOI, we are only 3 years old, but we are England's largest e-scooter rental operator. We're also operating across 15 countries within the EU as well. We're now we've got 45 million rides since we've been operating. It took quite a long time to get to 1 million, and we're now running across the whole company at actually 1 million rides a week, 200,000 of which are here in the UK. We have done a great deal of work at ensuring that we are a fully sustainable mode of transport. So some of the work we've done has reduced our life cycle carbon emissions by 85%, and we work with EY to deliver that. And we've been registered net zero now for about 16 months or so. And an important thing here is the bottom left-hand zero, road launches. So I'm sure we've all read about and experienced mobility as a service platforms such as a lot of those bike sharing schemes that suddenly appeared, or certainly in the United States, you've seen some e-scooter operators sort of landing without permission from the city, and suddenly these things appear on street corners. We work very much with our cities. They're our clients, and we're here to deliver on the policy outcomes that those cities want to see. So very quickly, for those who haven't sort of experienced e-scooter schemes, it's an app-driven platform, so you download the app, and then you can see where the scooters are available within the city, and you go and find one. Here in the UK, and these are regulations. Your driving license needs to be uploaded, and that is checked against the selfie that you take. So it's definitely you and your driving license to allow you to hire a scooter, and that can be a provisional license because it's for 18 plus. It's part of the date of birth check, and then you can unlock the scooter, take your ride, and at the end lock it. And if I go on to the next slide, in some areas you must park in particular areas of the cities. So we don't want to have these things all over the place. We don't want them blocking the pavements, being trip hazards, perhaps for more vulnerable road users, for mobility scooter users or visually impaired. So we have mandatory parking zones, and the system only allows you to unlock your lock and unlock your scooter in those areas. You can only end your trip there. Similarly, there's some areas where you can't park at all, and it's all geo-fenced. So if you leave the area in which we're licensed to operate, the scooter will essentially stop and you can't go any further. Obviously, there are green spaces and parks where, or perhaps pedestrianised areas where the e-scooters similarly will just stop and won't operate. And in those sort of shared space zones, they have a slow speed zone. So for my scoot down this morning to the warehouse, I took the pretty route along the riverfront, the Mersey, and it was a slow speed zone for most of the way because it is a shared space and that is a system that we work very much with our local authority partners, deciding together where those low speed zones should be, where those no riding zones should be, and of course where we park our scooters. But moving on to, this is a form of transport to really come away from the car-centric mobility that certainly here in the UK we are very much been dependent on for the last few generations, really helping to drive that modal shift. I mean, some of the statistics of our current car use are pretty astonishing. So we have 60% of journeys in the UK are between 1 and 2 miles, and nearly all, and those are taken by car. Many of those can be taken by walking and cycling, but also, of course, e-scooting. It's lowering that bar to make it easier for people to make those journeys, to get out of their cars, to make shorter trips, take part of a bit more active transport, and of course freeing up that road space for either other interventions such as public realm schemes to make those cities more livable, or of course just easy up the congestion for the road users such as the handymen and the logistics companies and the buses that really do need to travel around and really do need that road space. So at the moment we're looking around about how 63% of our users are currently combine that with the public transport, so that sort of last mile. And it's interesting to see some of the data here in the UK where we see sort of what you would expect the peaks during the day. So in the morning and the afternoon, commuting sort of times, we have a peak in ridership, which showing, and some of the train hubs. So coming out at New Street in Birmingham, for example, or Lime Street, where I am today in Liverpool, some of our busiest parking spots are at those transport hubs. And across the whole of our markets, we're seeing some 12% replacing cars. Actually, here in the UK, it's over 20%, so over a fifth of our journeys, our trips are displacing somebody who would otherwise have jumped in a car. So we're really looking about how, as cities move to try and drive more of that modal shift, how some of the how VOI can be fully integrated into that mobility options and really get to that last mile and reduce that car ownership, that car usage for those shorter journeys within cities. So we're really thinking around now about how VOI is an enabler of the 15-minute city. And this is the concept coming up from the Mayor of Paris, but you're seeing, for example, the Scottish government talking very much about the 20-minute city, a similar concept, where a lot of the things you want to do in such as your shopping, your healthcare, socializing and culture and work are within 15 minutes. And clearly e-mobility, micro-mobility and e-scooters play an important role in delivering that. And if you think about many of our towns and cities, including large parts of Birmingham, of course, you can really see how micro-mobility can really help to deliver that and make those shorter journeys really easy to do, affordable, safe, zero carbon, displacing those cars that otherwise fill up the road space. So we're really looking about how VOI can help to deliver that. And of course, we're very supportive of the Clean Air Zone, which is launching, I think, on Tuesday next week. And we'll be promoting that through our channels and to our users in the city, say that here is a form of transport where you could not make that journey by car, especially if it's one that's non-compliant, and here is a cheap, safe and zero carbon way of travelling around. So we have a variety of products. We have pay as you go, and it's just £1 to unclick, and then I think it's 80p per mile after that. And then we have a day pass and a monthly pass, and we've also got a variety of discounts for different groups. So the VOI for Heroes was for our key workers, for people such as the NHS staff, and they travel for free during lockdowns. And as the lockdown comes to an end, they'll still be discounted for 75% to help them get to hospitals or the clinics and the vaccination centres to get them there quickly and efficiently and sustainably. And then VOI for All is one for more low-income groups, and we are working currently now to expand that beyond the current HT1 form, and that is coming down the track fairly quickly now. And similarly, they get a 75% discount from the normal rate. I think it's worth saying that while VOI's been operating, we're now at 23,000 trips a week in Birmingham. And over the course of the whole trial since we started last autumn, we have displaced some 27,000 car trips, which results in fact 84,000 tonnes of CO2 that we have mitigated through people not using their cars but rather using VOI. And we're looking forward to continue to working with Birmingham and Transport West Midlands and the Metro Mayor at ensuring that we carry on to give a cost-effective, a safe and a zero carbon and sustainable form of transport to people living in Birmingham and the West Midlands region, and really form part of this clean air agenda that the Clean Air Zone on Tuesday is helping to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. If there's any questions, Matthew, please pop them in the chat on the right-hand side. And with that in mind, we'll now move on to Ali from National Express, who's going to talk through the support available through the bus system. So Ali, if you could share your presentation, please. We've just got a few technical problems, but if you could bear with us while we get the presentation ready, thank you. There we go. So with that in mind, I'll hand over to Ali. Ali, if you take over from here, thank you.
Thanks, Gemma. So my name is Ali Bell. I'm Head of External Communications at National Express West Midlands, and basically we run the buses. And the thing I have to say today is basically as simple as getting the bus is the quickest, cheapest and easiest way to avoid Clean Air Zone charges. So that's what I basically have to say. So all our buses are Clean Air Zone compliant. That's just to make that clear. So we won't get charged for driving into the Clean Air Zone, and obviously then we don't pass that charge on to our passengers. So that's the easiest thing. If you get on a bus and it goes into the Clean Air Zone, that's not your problem and you don't have to pay. And I think another thing to mention about getting the bus is that also it helps with our net zero targets for carbon, so it helps with climate change. And also, obviously, the thing about road space is that it's much more efficient use of road space. We can fit about 90 people into a double-decker bus. And that just makes our city a whole lot nicer to live in for pedestrians, for children, for people whizzing around on scooters. And basically, obviously, we do weekly passes, monthly passes, but the thing to take away is that a day saver is just £4.60. So if you're going to be charged to go into the Clean Air Zone, which is £8, that's quite a substantial saving. We can't do it at the moment, but from 21st of June, if that's when we all get to unlock, we are going to cut our prices so that a day saver from 21st of June, we hope, will be £4 if we're allowed to unlock. The other thing that customers are telling us is that a lot of people are not thinking about going back into work 5 days a week at the moment. So we've designed some flexible fares, which are kind of like little bundles of tickets which you can activate on your phone that whenever you want to use them. And basically this handsome young man here is holding the Top Gear reasonably priced car, which that red Astra we have worked out costs over £3,000 a year to run. And if that's sat outside your house, you know, 95, 96, 97% of the time, that's probably not very sensible at the moment. And if you get some of our flexi fares, we think you could save over £2,000 compared with the price of a car. The other thing we do is that we work with loads and loads of the kind of medium-sized and bigger businesses in the city to give kind of bulk discounts on bus passes, bus tickets. So ask your employer if they do that, and if they don't, tell us to get in touch with us, because that's a really easy way of getting kind of discounted travel. If you're going to have to travel into the zone, your employer might be able to get you a cheap travel pass. Obviously, if you work in the Clean Air Zone but you earn less than £30,000 a year, you are entitled to scrap your non-compliant car and get £2,000, which you can put towards free bus travel. So it kind of goes into an account, and then you kind of have it on like a smart card, and all you have to do is just tap that on the reader when you get onto the bus. It also works on the tram and on the train, and the other good thing about this is that you can use that money in that account not just for yourself, but you can use it to buy travel for other people kind of in your household. So you've got that flexibility. It's not necessarily all for you, but we have worked out that if you use that for a single pass just for yourself, that's getting on for about 3 years worth of free bus travel. So it's definitely worth considering if you're eligible for that scrappage scheme. And basically there are, like with the fares cuts, there are things that we can't do at the moment because of the government restrictions on transport. So once we've got to the 21st of June, if we're allowed, there will be lots of other offers that we will be able to make, because we know from all the evidence that we've got is that when people try the bus that haven't tried the bus before, they really like it. You know, the buses are really clean, lots of them have got free Wi-Fi, USB chargers, and people do really like them once they get on board. So we're going to launch some incentives, but we're not allowed to do it now. 21st of June, watch this space, and there'll be some more things to tempt you onto the buses. There's more details of all of the things that I've just said, and keep checking back after the 21st because the offers will be on this website. Thanks very much, Gemma. That's me.
Thank you, Ali. Appreciate that. So we have had a couple of questions come in on the chat, so I will just read those out. Steve has asked, when will the e-scooters be available in the Sheldon area, please? Matthew? You're on mute at the moment, Matthew.
Sorry, Jem. I'm going to have to get back to you on that, but I will very quickly. And if you have the emails of all the attendees, I'll go and find out around that. In order to expand, we engage with both the Combined Authority and also Birmingham City Council, and we've been working very hard with the council to ensure that we can scale our services as we begin to unlock. And as more people want to travel around. Can I just use the opportunity to correct an error I said? It is £1 to unlock and then 20p per mile, not 80p per mile. So apologies for that error.
Thank you, Matthew. So I'll keep an eye on the chat box for any other questions that are coming in. As I mentioned, we will be circulating a copy of this recording afterwards, and we will also include contact details for Ali and Matthew for the best people to contact in their organisations if you're looking for any more information or to register, etc. We did the same yesterday with the presenters from Transport for West Midlands and eBike Brum. So the idea of these webinars is just to get you thinking about alternatives to travel. We're not saying one scheme is better than another, but what we are saying is there are several alternatives to the private car, and we hope that these webinars have helped to make you aware of that and help you consider alternatives. Please get in touch with those who've presented. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to discuss any individual concerns and questions and things that you have. So if no other questions come in, I just want to thank you all for joining today. Do appreciate it, and apologies again for the technical difficulties we've had the last couple of days. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, but we've got there in the end. So thank you all very much for your time. Unless Ali or Matthew have anything further to add, I'm seeing shaking heads. So thank you all, take care, and we will be in touch with future webinars. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Ali.
Bye.